that third bullet is the one that should concern every one of us. If we're really going to make this a humanitarian issue, which it really is the human traffickers. Because
how real is that?
It's so real. So many people do not realize they are in this trafficking vortex until it's too late. There are stories out there, and we don't need to even go that way today, but I can just tell you that it is real. It's what I'm pretty much dedicating my life to now, looking for solutions, and we can talk about some of that down the road here. But let me just say this. So many people, well, let's cut to the chase here. So these people are being sold a bill of goods that they're going to be able to come over here and live the American dream, all right? It's so controlled by cartels and trafficking organizations that you have, they were charging anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a person to come across. People don't have that kind of money. So they're going to have to pay that off. Indentured servitude, whether it's going to be put them in forced labor or prostitution, things like that, narcotic smuggling, all that.
So people are paying that. They'll say you'll do it in trade?
Yes.
Wow.
Or they don't know that. Like, hey, give me your $20,000 for the four of us to come across. Well, I'll have $20,000. Okay, well, give me what you got, and I know where you live, and I'll put you to work when you get there, and you can pay off your debt. Wow. Sounds like a great deal until they realize what they have to do. If what was real, this is real, you'd have families show up at the border in Mexico. They're still in Mexico. Through the cartel organization, the smuggling organization, trafficking organization. Say, okay, this husband and this husband are going to swap wives. This kid's going to go with this single adult, and that's going to be a family. You two are now a family. You two are now a family. You're going to cross in California. You're going to cross in Arizona. And then when you get released, you play the script. When you get released, y'all can be reunited. Now,
made it because if they were families, they faced
they would be released. We weren't detaining family units. So they combined people. And by the way,
they would just be released?
Yeah, the process, there's no place to hold family units.
So if things were full and you were a family and you came across and you guys caught them,
we'd process them and we release them.
And just release them into America.
Into America, to the nonprofits. And the nonprofits would facilitate. So here's what happens. So if that was my wife with some other guy being pushed across someplace else 100 miles away, I'm going to do whatever it takes to ensure her safety, which means I'm going to play that script, I'm going to pay that debt, and pray that I get to reunite with her in the next few days.
Right.
That's the mental trauma. And by the way, my kids are involved in this. So I'm hoping I at least got my kid with me, or she's got a kid. But they'll separate those families on the south side of the border to control and manipulate. So I won't say a word because, number one, you know where I'm from. You know where I'm going. You've got my family. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm just going to play the game, and I'm going to just try to get through this without being discovered by Border Patrol that this isn't really my family.
Are the cartels afraid they're going to be ratted out? Is that what you're saying? Like what? Why would they?
No, the cartels really aren't worried about being ratted out.
Well, I'm curious.
But they tell the migrants, if you rat me out, if you squeal, they're not going to get paid, so we're going to take it out on you. So it is completely mental and emotional human exploitation.
So I guess I'm still confused, and I don't know why. It could have just been I didn't sleep much, but so they'll mix and match the families,
yes,
and send them over.
Mm-hmm. Control. You're going to pay. You're going to pay me the money that you owe me, or if you want to be reunited with your family and you can't pay, I'm putting her to work over here.
Oh wow,
that's the mind.
Now
the mind
I see
control
what you're saying.
game that's happening. And so much of this was, again, and we were caught up in this as agents too, right? So you'd have, they're separating families, or the families are being separated and released. We didn't know. We had, you catch 1,000 people in 8 hours. You don't have all the time and the resources to dedicate to ask every question that you should be asking, because you kind of pick up on things, right? Why the wife is not talking and the guy is giving all the instructions. I mean, when you have time, you can pick up on that stuff. But when you have got so many people coming and you're overwhelmed, we miss those things. And that's what I used to get asked, what would keep me up at night, Chief? And I'd be like, well, my agent's well-being, but then the people that we missed. Or there were, back then it was the cash crop was marijuana. That was when, everybody was backpacking marijuana. Now you don't even catch marijuana anymore. It's legalized in so many places. But it's changed now. It's changed because, again, for years, we fought a conventional war, if you will, against a conventional smuggling. Now, because of policies and the way things are so interconnected, like people are making all their arrangements now on the cell phones, using online, social media platforms. The smugglers oftentimes don't even cross the border anymore. All the arrangements are made prior to people getting to the border. As I mentioned earlier, the large groups are being, pushed through in one area. The other ones are using their apps, and I'm not going to name the programs, but they will communicate with the smuggler via cell phone and via apps, doing DMs, and hey, I'm lost, and it will send me a picture of what you see, and then they will text back, okay, you need to go through this way, and they'd roadmap it for them.
Oh, so the coyotes or whatever who are bringing them across usually aren't even going anymore.
Yeah, they're either in Mexico or in Phoenix.
Wow.
Because then everything's done through cash apps and everything else. So we have this beautiful thing called interconnectedness has made the adversary unconventional. So how do we attack it? It's one of the things that I'm doing right now. And this is necessarily a big pitch, but the reality is there is so much online smuggling and trafficking done on our numerous social media platforms that children are being recruited to be smugglers. Children are and people are being recruited to buy illegitimate narcotics, underground stuff. Hey, you want a painkiller?
I've done it.
We're using. Oh yeah, you can do this on the apps, and this is where it becomes so deadly.
Yeah.
Because it may be pressed in a clandestine lab in Mexico as a Vicodin, but they don't have the same sanitary. So now you got residual fentanyl. DEA put out a stat recently, like 7 out of 10 off-market things have enough fentanyl in it now to kill them. That's ridiculous. Look, there were over, I think in the last 7 days, close to 2,000 unique individuals posting sex services in Nashville alone. Yeah. Who do you think those people are? Theo, you and I are close enough in age to remember milk carton, missing kids in the milk carton. You don't see that anymore, right? It's these people. Not only are they internationally being victimized and trafficked, domestically. In Nashville alone, that many unique individuals, right? And about 25% of that stuff is narcotics crossovers. So not only are they selling people and services, there's also drug related. So we have got to take this unconventional approach and use the technology
that they're using.
And we play by the rules, obviously.
Wow.
But we have got to create that cyber wall to protect our country, protect our community, our companies, because there's all sorts of corporate espionage, and our children, most importantly. Because if you think that, kids are upstairs going to bed on a school night at 9 o'clock and not on their social media, do you think the person they're engaging with is really their friend or somebody that they know? This is where these predators and boy, the sextortion, all the stuff that's going on. I did this for so long that this was where I knew, how could I continue to make a difference and not wear the badge and gun anymore, is to go after the bad guy in an unconventional manner. And, I think it's going to save lives. It's going to protect lives. It's going to, there's so much we can do with it. Let's use the technology to our advantage. It's not going away.
Right.
Let's think about what's happening right now online. It really takes a person staring at a computer, data mining, just going through websites and going through all. Why not use technology? What I can do in an hour would take somebody a week or more. And so this is how we can get this into. We're working with a couple states and a couple agencies with this program to help them use this tool. It's a great lead generator, right? It's going to do that, and we're going to continue to evolve. We love online. We love our social media, and it's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
But let's put the safeguards and let's use it to.
Well, it goes back again though to why doesn't our country have and maybe this is me just expecting out of government. You know, I've often said if you expect anything out of government, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
But you would think the one thing that you would want out of your government that you would get is safety.
Yeah.
Right. That is the number one thing that people always pay for.
Yeah.
Is safety. And the fact that they just had Zuckerberg in court the other day, apologizing with no emotion. Guy, I don't know if the guy's ever had a feeling. And he's in court because of families that have lost children or had children sex trafficked or bought and drugs. There's no wall. I don't know why an adult Zuckerberg apologizes to families of online child sex abuse. In an unscripted scene during tense testimony Wednesday, Meta Platforms Inc. CEO Mark Zuckerberg stood before a packed Senate hearing. "I am sorry for everything that you have all gone through," he said Wednesday while facing a crowd of safety advocates and parents holding photos of their children. "It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that you families have suffered." Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. He's sitting there surrounded by all of his lawyers.
Yeah.
It seemed like he didn't have an emotion.
Yeah.
Like but that blows my mind why there isn't. How are you even allowed to use I can't even buy a deodorant that doesn't have a little thing on it.
Right.
That has a plastic thing
Right.
on it now.
Yeah.
So that some kid just doesn't put it on or put his mouth on it.
Right.
But yet you can have an app where some predator can reach out to my fucking child
Yeah.
and not go to fucking jail for it. I feel like these guys should be jailed. You know, it's the same with that family, the Sackler family that did the opiates with OxyContin. It's like they killed hundreds of thousands of people in this country.
Yeah.
They killed hundreds of thousands of human fucking beings.
It's unbelievable, right?
And they didn't go to jail.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that, which is, again, your passion is exactly my passion when it comes to this. You know, a way that we can feel safe as a parent myself. I want my daughter to be able to enjoy the technology that's there. It's part of her generation, but I want her to be safe.
100%. There's no way they can tell what kind of shit you like to look at and advertise you bullshit.
Yeah.
But they can't tell, they can't keep, they can't have a little bit more efficiency with figuring out who is able to reach out to children or who children are able to reach out to. Now, I guess somebody could create, and look, obviously I'm not arguing the other side of it that maybe there's like, somebody could create a platform. But if somebody hasn't been online long enough with a platform, then maybe they shouldn't be able to reach out to children.
Yeah.
Or there should just be much stricter things in place, it seems like.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
It's a stark reminder that, that there's evil out there and so
but it's fucking winning. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah. And that's why we're invested in this. I can tell you that there are platforms out there that will recruit teenagers, and this is very prevalent in Arizona, in the Phoenix area, to get get your mom and dad's SUV, drive down. If you're interested to make $1,000 a person, you want to make $5,000, get an SUV, DM me here, and then that message disappears, right? But they're messaging, and they give them a pin drop and go pick up these 5 people. Well, now these kids, and most of them are minors, 16, 17 years old, so they haven't been driving very long. Now they're in mom and dad's SUV. They end up picking up 10 people in some remote area near Douglas, Arizona, and they're told, drive to Phoenix, and when you get to Phoenix, DM me, I'll give you a pin drop. And don't stop for Border Patrol or cops. They're doing 100 miles an hour with 10 people in their car, top heavy. They don't know how to drive because they're young anyway. They're rolling over. People are dying. They're T-boning innocent civilians caught in an intersection, killing people. This is happening every day. And they're using social media to coordinate it. So the smugglers are not at risk because they're
not even doing the job anyway. Yeah.
Burn the account, burn the phone. They're not. There's no overhead for them.
Wow.
They just used mom's SUV. Oh, and by the way, if you were successful and you got to the drop-off location, they're going to say, "Yeah, I got your license plate. I know who you are. I'm not going to pay you this time. You're not going to squeal because I know who you are. I know what school you go to. I know what your mom drives." The hook's in, man. Yeah. The hook's in. Yeah, there's stuff right there. Yep, that happens.